Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rock Room. Finally done with all these extra runs I had. Hopefully done. Yeah, well, you never know. Truck driving. So I hope I'm done with all these extra runs, and I'm home. So now we're going to cut some taters. I haven't done any taters in a while. If people aren't familiar with taters, taters are just a trade name of rocks we find in Marathon Portage County. I'll show you what they look like before I do anything with them, although they are already slabbed. So I'm just taking some slabs and we're going to do some cabs out of these slabs. But if you're not familiar with taters, stick around and see what they look like. You'd be pretty impressed. I think you'll be pretty impressed. Maybe you won't be. But yeah, so remember, if you got time, hit that like and subscribe button. So let's take a look at some taters, the slabs, before I draw cabs on them and cut them up into pieces. Here's one of the first ones I'll be cutting on. And although this side looks pretty gruff, but I think I should be able to get one right in here somewhere. Let me take it over and focus. So yeah, so right there somewhere, a cab right there. Alright, here's just an end chunk. It's already made in the cab shape, generally speaking. So yeah, we'll make a cab out of this one. Alright, now here's a classic tater. And these are dry. If I would spray them up, show you, well, here, let me get a spray bottle. So yeah, like I say, this is dry. Actually, might not be dry because it does have some oil residue. Otherwise, they're even tougher to see when they're completely dry. But yeah, when you spray these things, you know, that's evaporating pretty quick. But yeah, they really pop. So another one we'll cut up. If you're not familiar, it's really some good lavender color in there, some purple and blacks. Okay, here's the next one. It's got some good contrasty patterns there. So again, this is what they'll look like when, kind of what they'll look like when they're polished. It's got some real good patterns in that. Now this is a good example of a common tater. This one I cut with a tile saw, so it was cut in water. So you do not have the oil on here. So this is kind of what they look like when I'm looking at them. And then when you polish them, like I say, they just come to life. Nice looking tater there. Okay, here's another one. Again, it kind of has that almost like a cloudy pattern. Okay, here's another one. This has got a lot of pits down in the center. Or that might not have been the center, but with the banding, you would assume it would be the center. But yeah, a lot of pits, so I'm going to have to stay to the edge on this one. But along that edge, it's got some nice looking orby stuff. Okay, here's the next one. And these are kind of tough to see, but these are pretty translucent too. These are, you know, most of these are cut really, really too thick because I was doing a lot of these with a tile saw. And you don't have any kind of way to just get exact measurements, so they ended up being a little thick, but that's okay. But this has that You know, almost like a moss agate pattern. Now here's one I cut with the oil saw, so it's kind of dark right now. But yeah, this has got a lot going on. You know, it's got a lot of banding. Weird looking black spots. They seem to always have that black or a purple, dark purple centers. And then everything kind of radiates around from that. Okay, this is another one that was cut with a tile saw with just water. So there's no oil on here or nothing. This is completely dry. And like I say, when they're dry like this, it's really hard to tell. But when you get these wet, you know, it's really when you can start to see some crazy stuff. Okay, and then here's the last one I do, because I'm going to do multiple cabs out of some of these, or a lot of these, so that ought to be enough. But yeah, you can see this one's just got some all kinds of little tiny agates in there, and different colors and bandings and pinks and reds and golds and whites, so should be able to get a few out of here too. Okay, so this is that, well, I guess it would be the last one I ended up with, but so these are the three, you know, I kind of tried to pick some good. This one had like a big crystal vog going in the middle, so I put that right in the middle. So there'll be three I'll pull out of here. Okay, out of this pink one. And it doesn't, you know, the color that I'm looking at and the color that shows up on the camera is not the same color. This thing is really, really pink, peachy colors. So, but yeah, so this will be the three I'll take out of here. Okay, on this one, these will be I'll just take three of them out of here. This side's kind of just kind of yellow, plainy. So this would get some good contrast in there. That should be a pretty neat one. So yeah, we'll take three out of this. Yeah, I just have one drawn out here. And yeah, I'd like to take some other ones out of there, but this is a real thick piece. So I did one on the thin end, and this is pretty thick. So we'll just do one with this, even though this rest of this is pretty neat. I'll just do one out of here for now. Okay, I got a couple out of here. I went right in that orange cloudy area. Okay, I'll take three out of here. And this is that real, again, this is real lavender, really purple. So I'll take three out of here. One with this black and purple together. One with the good banding going from the purple over to kind of a yellow, and then another one with some good pattern in there. Okay, and out of this chunk, we'll just do one out of this side. And it does have a pit there. It doesn't go all the way through. So, and then this rest is kind of plain up here. So we'll just do one out of that. This was that little half nodule. But again, it's got a little pit there, but you know, it doesn't go through. So that's got some real good looking. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Oh, too much. But that's got some pretty impressive looking pattern in there too. We'll do a couple with this red moss. Like I say, very translucent. I don't know if I can pick that up, some depth on that. Maybe not, right? But yeah, should make a couple out of there. Like I say, this one we'll just try to skim 2 off the edge here. Try to stay away from these pits. Try to get that good orby pattern, and hopefully avoid all these pitty section. And then I'll pull a couple out of here. Again, try to get that little section with some contrasty patterns in there. All right, well, let's cut these out. Rough shape with the saw. Okay, so I got them all roughed out. And of course there was some casualties. You know, a couple of them broke, so I epoxied them back together. You know, will it hold? Will it not hold? Oh, that's anybody's question. And a couple other ones. Like that moss one broke in half, and there was another one that the top broke off. And then that one that had the, of course, that cool looking fog in the middle that broke off on both sides. And these are a little thick. I might have to cut these down thinner now that they're small like this, but yeah, this will give me a good starting point. So we will start to grind these and see what they look like after I get them to the lines or the size that it's going to be. Okay, so here they are, all fine-tuned. The shape, I say. The couple I just gave up on. They just kept fracturing. So I added a couple. I got this breccia. So I threw that in. This is from Wisconsin too. So yeah. So here they are. All ready to go on the next step. So I'll keep grinding. Alright, so here's the rough grind done on these. They're taken down to shape. They're rough ground to get the dome on them. Next, and I did lose a couple more casualties along the way, of course. These I still have to trim these thick ones down. So yeah, we lost a couple more. This one seems to be fracturing off the top. Don't know how far I would go, and that was kind of a cool looking one. This one was real cool looking, and it completely broke in half. So yeah, so you know, there we go. These are wet, that's why they look shiny right now. They're not polished, so we'll let these dry and we will see what more needs to be ground on them. So we'll get back to them, do some more steps. Alright, so here's the stones after the third wheel. And, you know, you should be, I see this one's got, that's why I put that marker, Mr. Sharpie on there. It's still got a little flat spot on there, some scratches I got to get off. But normally these would be good enough to move on to the next stage for a lot of people. But you know, ones that have like that little, you know, those little pits. You know, some of these are actually like crystal vogs. And then some of them are pits. The pits and the pits are the pits. So, you know, can you continue along with this and then just ignore the pits? You know, I can't. I wish I could. But it can't, because, you know, nothing detracts or pulls your attention away from a stone like a pit. So You know, even with these little, I don't know if that's picking it up or not. Maybe we can zoom in on that a little bit better. You know, even if it's a little, crystal vog, you know, which looks cool. There's a bigger one there. So even if it's a little crystal vog that looks kind of cool, it's still a pit. And, you know, even if you fill that in, let me zoom back out. So even if I fill that in with clear epoxy, you're going to still see the crystals, you're going to still see the void, but it won't look like a hole. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to sonic clean these with a sonic cleaner, and then we're going to fill them voids. So on to the next. Alright, taters are all done. And I don't know if you can see or not, but just about all the little pits that were in there, some of them had, you know, that were pretty bad. See, that's still got a pit in there, but a lot of that stuff is now sealed up. And yeah, some of the stuff, oh, it's got a big one crystal on the edge there. So a lot of this stuff reappears, you know, once you get that coated, reappears as you go down more. But for the most part, they're pretty hole free. So let's take a closer look at them. Come on, focus. Why is this focus always such an issue on these freaking cameras, right? Come on. There we go. So this one, of course, has a lot going on. Real crazy pattern. Hard to see the real color, the reds in there. I say it's got some real nice crystal vogs up on top. Oh, camera. Now here's another one. This has got a real cool kind of snake-like pattern. Reptilian, even kind of like a little reptile eye there. Really cool pattern, and that's what they look like when they're not polished. So yeah, really cool pattern. Alright, this is more of a conglomerate, and you can see how the hematite goes around each conglomerate piece to give it that real cool looking effect. Okay, here's another one similar to that, or exactly like that, with that cool looking hematite design around each stone, each piece in there. Nice looking. Now this one's got a real cool looking orby pattern. And you can see the sparkles in there too. Nice. Okay, here's a piece of the Wisconsin moss. They say you can, there you can see the translucency of this moss. You can't really pick up the depth. The camera doesn't show you the depth of these, but yeah. Nice bright reddish orange. Okay, here's another one with that that kind of snaky pattern. Okay, this, of course the camera takes away. This has got this is like a big lavender color, and then it's got this big crystal. Let's see if I can focus in on that big crystal vog in the middle that I patched up, and then it actually has some pink mixed in there, some pink on this edge, and then just kind of like a real cloudy sky pattern. Now this one has more of the layered look, or almost banded. Real translucent up in that clear spot. Now here's a crazy looking one. Again, you can see that crystal pocket there. And of course, not as translucent. But a nice pattern. Alright, here's just the average one. Had a nice streak going down the middle. Whoop. Okay, here's an interesting one. Kind of got the layer on the bottom, and then the top is this, and in the middle you get this pink, and then it goes up into this like layer or cloudiness, cloud look to it. But nice. Okay, this one had kind of cool on the edge, but then up on the top it just kind of didn't pan out the way it looked on the other side like it might have. So, but it's still alright. Alright, this is a big peachy one, and of course the camera's not picking up, but this is real pink peachy colors. It's got these nice peachy lines running right through there, and this orange kind of matrixy stuff, and it's pretty translucent. Okay, here's a little guy with just a little bit. I mean, this is pretty translucent, pretty quartzy. Now there you can see that where it had that hole, where I filled in that hole. It's similar to the other one where it had that orange streak going through the middle. It just didn't turn out to be what I figured it might look like. And there's a tiny little moss one. That was the same thing. Had those big holes in there. You just see some little holes. I think this side had a big gaping hole in it too, where I filled them in to give you a better look. Again, real mossy, clear. And this one cracked completely in half, and I epoxied it back together. And then after I ground it down, I filled in the crack, and you can still see a couple little bits on the crack, but you know, too nice of a stone to just throw away. Okay, this one was kind of you know, plain orange and black. Not too much else going on. And then the last one here, again, kind of a cloudy pattern. It's another one with a big crystal vog in there I filled in. Let's see if I could zoom in on that. So, you know, would it be alright with a hole? Yeah, it would be, but you know, filled in, it just kind of completes it. So yeah, so that's our completed taters. A lot of work involved. You know, again, is it worth the extra work? Well, you know, sure it is. That the end result looks better. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but what else you can do. So yeah, those are the taters. Hope you enjoyed them. Back out on the road tomorrow morning, so that's kind of rush. Maybe I did too many at one time, but what else you can do? So yeah, so I went to that bucket sale yesterday. I don't know if you knew about it. It was the gem shop down in Cedarburgs, Wisconsin. Has an annual box and bucket sale. And they got like used equipment. They got trays of slabs. They have buckets of rocks and a lot of stuff that they're getting rid of. Of course, the keyword getting rid of, so that kind of hint. So yeah, check it out. You might find something you like there. Next year it'll be happening again. I think it was today too, Friday and Saturday. So yeah, go check that out. You might find some deals. They got, like I say, a lot of equipment and stuff like that. It seemed kind of pricey too, but hey, you never know. And so yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon in a rock room near you.